Rudy is known as the millionaire real estate agent maker at Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. His passion is to help real estate agents and brokers 10x their income with no cold calling, no prospecting, and no door knocking. He has been featured on ABC, CBS, Fox News. Riz Media named him as the 2020 real estate newsmaker, and Exelon Magazine also named Rudy as a top 10 most admired business leaders in 2021.
Instead of focusing on your weakness, instead of trying to improve what you are weak on, if you want to be successful, focus on your strength, develop your God-given talent, because every single one of us, we all have this God-given talent, right? But then, if you don't practice, you don't develop your God-given talent, it's useless. Look at every athlete or anybody that's successful in their field. Do you think they're born like that? They practice every single day. Right. But they practice on the one thing. Yeah. The problem with real estate agents, DJ, they try to practice on the stuff that like 20 different stuff. So now they become average in everything.
Hello. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Today we have welcome to our Superstars Agents Partner Podcast. Today is special. Today we have my partner here, Jason Tan, and Jason specialized in real estate investing. And you yourself, Jason. Hey, Jason, why don't you say hello? Do a quick introduction about you. When did you get started in the business? How did you get started in the business? And then we jump into investing in real estate.
Yeah, good morning, Rudy. Good morning, everyone. Well, I got my real estate license in 2003, but I didn't really do much until 2009 when the market kind of crashed. So I started working with my investor to buy investment property. And how I get started was back then, my previous broker gave me an idea that at that time, saving account was like 0.001 or something like that. You don't make any money putting your money in the CD. So, and the property price was really cheap. So he said, if you have 50,000 in your CD, why don't you just take that and use it to buy an investment property? And at that time, the property was so cheap, you would be making like 15% return on investment if you buy one. And in 5 years, you'll get all your money back from your initial investment, and then you'll be making 100% on return on investment. And I shared the idea with one of my classmates in Glendale Community College, and he started buying, and then he bought 5 houses from me, and he ran them all out, and then I start talking to my brother, and I myself start buying at that time also. I think you are muted. You're muted.
Am I muted? Am I muted now?
Yeah.
Yes. Am I muted?
Yes.
Still muted now?
Now I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
It's some tech issue right there. So Jason, why don't you share a little bit about right now? Give some tips about, we have many audience here, consumers, clients, as well as real estate professional, real estate agents who wants to get into investing in real estate. Give us the blueprint on investing in real estate.
Well, the main thing is when you buy an investment property, you need to calculate your return on investment, and you need to know your time frame. So people always ask, when is a good time to buy an investment property? My answer is now. If you know what you're doing and your time frame of holding the property, because there's no way you know the right time. You cannot time the market, because when you time the market, you can always be wrong. And you're gonna miss out on the gap up, like in 2020 when the pandemic happened, the property value gap up 40%, and if you try to time it, you're gonna miss it. So my clients still buy property. Like the background that you're seeing on my screen right now is one of my clients' property that he bought in June of this year. It's a brand new construction in Victorville. He paid about $460,000 for it, and I was able to rent it out for him at $2,900 a month. And it's just a break-even investment right now. But if interest rate continue to go down, later, if it go down by 1%, if he refinance it, he will stop making positive cash flow. And if the interest rate go lower, you'll make more money. And that's how you make money. You need to keep it 5 to 10 years, and then you'll be making money. And your goal is to, for my client, always I said, I want to help you buy 10 property, but 20 door. That means you have a combination of some single family home and some multi-unit. If you can do that, you'll be making good money in the long run.
Yeah, let's share. Jason, do you have some PowerPoint that you share with us? Walk us through the process, right? As if you're consulting with one of our clients here, because I get a lot of messages from people, consumers, our clients coming in here, as well as real estate agents. Actually, real estate agents wanna start investing in real estate. So give us the step by step.
Yeah, it looks like you need to allow me to share my screen because it said disable.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, well, just a little bit about myself. I came to the United States in 1986. I graduated from Cal State LA. Back then, when my professor actually taught me that you need to take calculated risks and leverage others people's money to make money. And so when I got my license in 2003, when opportunity come in 2009, I see the opportunity. At that time, everybody was so scared, but just like, Warren Buffett said, be greedy when others are fearful, and be fearful when others are greedy. So at that time, I just leverage other people's money and start buying property, and I share that with my other investor, and they do the same thing. So go to the next slide. So there's a lot of benefit, of investing in real estate. Over time, the real estate will go up in value because of inflation. And when the home value go up, your rent is also going to go up. So you're going to make more money. And if you look at this graph right here, this is from Fred. It shows real estate value from 1965 to now. Sometimes it gap, just like in 2020, it go up a lot and it went up more. So we know in the long run, property value always gonna go up. And all this shaded area is the recession time. So usually recession will last about a year to a year and a half. The bad one was like 2009. It lasts about almost 2 years, but then it's gonna recover and gonna go higher. So it also gonna keep you like steady passive income, right? If you own enough, the income just come in every month, and you're gonna, when your property start going up in value, your investment property, you can also do a cash out refinance and use it to buy additional property. And there's also a lot of tax benefit, like you can deduct your mortgage interest, depreciate your property, etc. And it's a very good inflation hedge because property value and rental income tend to rise when inflation goes up. So you can increase your rent every year. Just make sure you follow the government's, rent control. And it can also help you in your retirement because, a lot of people have very little money in the 401k, and invest in the investment property would be another source of income that you can get when you retire. And then when you retire, you can also use the income to build generation wealth, because you don't need to give it to your kid. You can just put in a trust and generate rent money and give it to them, the profit, instead of giving them the property. So how do you start? You just need to work with someone that know what they're doing and invest in investment property themselves, because that's the best way to do, is find someone that have done it and just follow what they do. But if you don't know much about it, you can look into an area where you can generate positive cash flow. You can go to crime map to look at the area and see how safe it is. It gives you the statistics. You can also go to Zillow and look at the market rent and the demand. When you click on it, you can tell how many people save it and how many property are on the market. So you know if the market have a tight supply or have a lot of supply, so you can know where to invest in. You can also go to city data to look at the population and look at the demographic and how much income the people make in that area. And then one of the most important thing is you need to calculate your return on investment, because a lot of people invest, they just buy the property close to where they live. Like here in the San Gabriel Valley, the houses are very expensive and the rent is almost the same as Victorville or in the high desert. So your return on investment is going to be very low. You need to know how to calculate it. So how do you calculate it? The first thing you need to know is you need to know your loan amount. How much are you borrowing? You need to know the interest rate, and you need to know the market rent and the property tax of the property that you're buying, and so also the insurance cost to insure that property. And this is an example of two property that I put in comparison. The one in Hannah Court is the one that my investor bought in Victorville for $457.63, and I pick another one in West Covina for $788,000. And then you go to Zillow, you can look at the market rent. It'll tell you how much the rents are. And then the comparison was when we put this into a calculation that you can find on the internet called investment property calculator. You just plug in the number and it shows you if you hold this property in Victorville for 20 years, you'll be making like $619,000, and the return on internal rate of return is 8.38%. If you buy the one in West Covina, you still make money and you need a lot more capital to start, and the internal rate of return is only 4.52%. So if you know your number, then you know where to buy. And there's always a myth that people think, oh, nobody live in the high desert. But in reality, people live everywhere. You just have to look at the statistic and just buy. And this is like the detailed number of the two comparison. As you can see in West Covina, the first couple of years, actually the first 10 years, you have a negative cash flow. Whereas in Victorville, you start making positive cash flow after year 3, you're already like positive. And people also need to know the rule of 72. Why? Because if you take the return on investment or the interest rate divided by 72, it will show you how long it takes for you to double your investment. So let's say if you're making 8%, 72 divided by 8, it's gonna take you 9 years to double your money. So if you invest 100,000 in 9 years, you should have about 200,000, and they're gonna continue to double. And you also need to know inflation works the same way. If inflation is at 3%, you take 72 divided by 3. In 24 years, your money will be only worth half of what it is right now. So $100 in 24 years will buy you only $50 worth of purchasing power. That's why the real estate always go up in value, because it always catch up with inflation. Yeah, so here is like, if you understand the rule of 72, there's really no reason for you to pay up your house, because your house interest rate is usually lower than what the average return if you invest. And if you pay up your house, you basically tied up all your money in the house and it just sit there, do nothing. So don't be
Let's
rich and cash poor.
let's go through it one more time, Jason. The rule of 72. Let's give more examples. Make sure everybody we all understand the rule of 72.
Okay. So the rule of 72 is you take 72 divided by the interest rate. It tells you how long it takes for you to double your money, right? So let's say if I take 72 divided by, if you can make 7%, it's gonna take you 10.3 years to double your money. So if you invest 100,000 in 10.3 years, your total investment should equate to 200,000. And then you wait another 10 years, then they're gonna go to 400,000. That's how the power of compounding interest works. It's like it's gonna double every length of time with the return on investment that you're getting. And that's how it works. And it also works in reverse when you know inflation, because inflation is usually about 3%, average 2 to 3%. But sometimes it was like over 10%, like what we experienced a few years ago. And if you don't invest to catch up with inflation, basically, if you just leave your money under the mattress and 10 years later, you can only buy 50% of what you can buy. That's why it is very important that you invest in something that at least equate to or beat inflation. And real estate is something that always going to beat inflation, because you're not only getting the property value appreciate, but you're also making rental income that also match up with inflation also.
Got it. So your point of sharing the rule of 72 is basically you're trying to communicate that, hey, investing in real estate is a hedge against inflation.
Yes, definitely.
Because even if you save all your savings, all the money that you get from your job, whatever, there is no, like, that money is going to lose purchasing power.
That's right. You'll lose purchasing power. That's why if you put your money in the city, basically, it seems like you don't lose anything, but it evaporates the purchasing power. You don't even know it. Yeah.
Okay, got it, man. What else? What else you got for us?
Okay. So another thing you need to understand is real estate is a slow return, but over time it will go up a lot. So you need to give it at least 5 to 10 years before you can make money. You cannot just like invest, buy a property and expect to make money the first couple of years. Usually the first couple of years, if you buy older property, you actually will be putting money into improving the property. So you'll be like having negative return the first couple of years. But over time, you'll make money. Once you finish like improving it, then nothing much you need to improve, and then you'll have positive cash flow. Another important thing in investing in real estate is to make sure that you have reserve and emergency expenses, because when you buy a house, rent it out, things can go wrong, like the water heater can break, and then to replace it, it's gonna cost between $1,000 to $2,000, depending who's gonna do it for you, right? And also, let's say the roof could be old and you need to replace it, that could be 20,000. And if the tenant doesn't pay you, if you only have one property, you're already losing money immediately, and it may take a few months to even a year to evict them if we have like eviction moratorium like a few years ago. So make sure that you have at least 6 months of reserve. If you have 1 year, would be better. That way, if you run into issue, you have the money to carry on and ride it out. And most of my successful investors are the ones that have gone through this and still continue to invest. That's how they go from like $1 to like $20 over time, and they don't give up. So how do you find capital to invest? If you're already a homeowner, yeah.
Jason, let's pause there a little bit. This is the reason we are sharing this investing in real estate system with you guys is because here in our office, when our clients first bought their first home, that's just the beginning of our relationship. Here in this office, we believe we are doing business for life. So what Jason just shared just now is this is basically what's going on here every day. Step number one, we help we help the clients to get into their primary home. Then we enroll our clients into our investors club. So Jason here is leading our investors group, and what you shared just now, Jason, that's exactly how clients go from having zero house to 20 doors, right? And the ultimate goal is how can you get rich investing in real estate is from that passive income, because that passive income from the doors, from the rentals, is gonna it's when that doubles that of your expenses, technically you retire. So can you speak more a little bit on that, Jason? Because there is the vision that we are sharing to our clients, right? Because it's not about buying their primary home. Getting the primary home is the first step. And then the next step is we wanna retire you. We wanna get you wealthy by investing in real estate. And this is casting the vision. So can you share speak a little bit, because we have two kind of audience, Jason. The one that's listening to our uh, podcast now is the first one is the consumers, our clients is watching this. The second one is also many real estate agents. There are many real estate agents are struggling, his Jason, and the reason because the according to the National Association of Realtors, the average consumers they buy and sell house once every 7 years. Versus with our investors program, the average clients within our investors club buy and sell houses at least once a year. So can you share and speak to those two audience? One, let's cast the vision to the consumers, right? Because the idea of getting rich investing in real estate, and then the second, it's shared to the idea of real estate agents who are watching this, and it feels like their life is always in constant struggle. Because you guys know what is the difference between real estate agents that's been in business for 20 years and the real estate agent that's been in business for 20 days? They all have the same problem, which is they're both wondering where's the next deal coming from. But
Yes.
Jason, you don't need to worry about where the like Jason literally is retired. Like you're doing it because you really like doing this. Like you have more than your passive income, it surpasses that of your expenses personally. But from the professional standpoint, as a real estate professional, you actually have an abundance of repeat clients. Can you speak on that, Jason? Because this is really good about casting the vision.
Yeah, really the most important thing, a lot of people in investment is after you learn how to invest, you have to take action. So most of my successful investor, most of them already own a house back in 2009 and 2010. But after they hear what I did for my investor, for example, I have a client that was referred to me by one of my investors. So she talked to her friend, she called me, and then she come and we went to Victorville and look at houses. And then she cashed out like about $200,000 from her house in Monterey Park. And she took that money and buy 3 properties in Victorville. And that 3 property 4 years later double. And then she cash out more and then buy more. So in 2020, she bought 4 more property and now she owns a lot of property and she's like making positive cash flow. So after you have the equity in your house, instead of trying to pay it off, try to like leverage your equity to invest in real estate. And you go from 1 to 2, 3, 4, 5, and once you have 10 property and 20 door, you are pretty set. You don't really need to buy anymore, because if you just increase the rent $50 a month from the 20 door, you automatically make an extra $12,000 a year. And in 10 years, you don't need to do anything. You're gonna make an extra $100,000. Isn't that great? And that's all you have to do. You just have to continue to do it, and don't let the obstacle set you back, because a lot of time I also see some of my investors get discouraged after they run into issue and they stop. And when they stop, they just cannot grow anymore. And then now they look back, oh, I should have done more and buy more, but they stop because they run into obstacle. Whereas my other investor that have issue, they just overcome it, and then when opportunity come, continue to buy. That's why if you do the investment calculation, once you know your return on investment, you just pull the trigger. It doesn't matter what other people say, because there's always people out there that said, oh, now you don't buy because the market gonna go down. In reality, nobody can predict what's gonna happen in the market, because it's determined by a lot of things, right? Like when the Fed dropped interest rate yesterday, and the house should go up, but some people said, oh, it's gonna go down. But time will tell if the house gonna go up or go down.
Yeah, you bring up a good point for our clients who first investing in real estate. For first time investors, you said that they found challenges and they give up, and the one that's successful, they face challenges and they overcome it. Give an example of some of the challenges, so that way we give a heads up, right? So that way, because I think it comes from awareness, because if we know that's coming around the corner, then we are ready. Give an example of your typical challenges that makes people give up.
Well, I have one investor, he had to evict 2 tenants. That's my first investor, actually. He evicted 2 tenants, and then the tenant messed up his house. He had to go fix it, and it gave him a headache. And then he ended up selling 2 houses. And when he sold those houses, he only make like $20,000 from each house. If he hold it until now, each house went up 300,000. So that's like he kind of threw away $500,000 because he gave up. And I have other investor, at the time he only had 3 houses, but all three houses become vacant because one person left. Some he had to evict, but they also mess up his house. But what he did was he and his wife went there and put the house back together, rent it out, and then carry on. And then when opportunity come, he continued to buy, and now he have more than 20 doors. So and making very good money. And that's the example of some of my clients that overcame the challenges and continue, and where some gave up, and instead of buying more, they sold 2, miss out on a $500,000 profit. That's just sad, you just have to stick to it.
Awesome, man. Sorry for interrupting your story. Continue with what else you get from us here.
Yeah, so like I explained before, how do you find a capital invest? The easiest way is if you're already a homeowner and you have a lot of equity in your house. Maybe you even already pay up your house, but now your money just sitting there doing nothing. If interest rate is low, what you should do is cash out, take some money, and start buying investment property. That's how most of my investor started. It's like that, I have one investor that came to my house, and I told him about the high desert, and then his house was paid up, but at that time I helped him cash out 300,000, and he bought 5 properties in the high desert. And fast forward 10 years, he made over $1 million from appreciation. That doesn't even count the monthly income that he get from the rent. But if you don't own anything yet and you are still renting, then the first thing you need to do is figure out how you can buy a house that you can afford. One way is you may have to move further away where you can afford to own a house, and you can find a job at the other location too. You don't really need to commute down to here, depending on what you do. And once you own a house, give it 5 to 10 years, you should have equity, and then you can start taking out equity to buy investment property. And when your investment property go up in value, you're gonna cash out from there and buy more property. That's how most of my investors go from 1 house that they own as a primary to 10 investment property. That's how they do it. And another important thing is like once you own your property, if you want to manage it yourself, then you need to have good connection with handyman in the local area, because usually in order to get a high return investment, you have to buy property that are far away from the San Gabriel Valley. You cannot really make any money here. You're gonna have negative cash flow if you buy here. And then you also need to like raise the rent every year accordingly. You want to make sure that your rent is not higher than market. If you're way below market, then you have to raise it every year too, so you can get your return on investment up. Like right now in California, they have the whole state rent control. You can raise the rent by 5% plus consumer price index CPI. So if the CPI is 2%, then you can raise it by 7%, and you'll be fine. You also need to have connection with a very good licensed plumber, because when there's a water issue, you want to have somebody that you can call. And also good AC company, because over there in the high desert, it's very hot, and during the summer, the AC usually break, and you just need to have someone to help you repair it. And if you're managing your property yourself, screening tenants is another important thing that you need to know. When I screen tenant, I will ask them how much they make, so I know if they can afford the rent or not, and also find out how long they've been employed with their company. If they've been employed there longer, it's more stable. And also you want to find out how long they live in their current house, because you don't want to get someone that's like moving all the time, right? You want them to be there for a long time. And also ask if they have any pets. If they have service animal, then you have to let them have it. You cannot say you cannot have pets. And I also ask them, have you ever paid late on the rent or been evicted before? But after you pull your credit, you should be able to see that. And then you also need to learn how to deal with problem tenants, because sometimes new tenant, they want to test your tolerance if they pay you late and see what you're gonna do. So if they pay late, you have to ask them, I haven't received your rent yet. Today is already whatever, the 5th or the 6th. And when are you gonna pay? If they tell you a time, then try to work with them. But they're always late, then you're gonna have to charge them a late fee. And if they don't respond to you, then you tell them you're gonna serve them a 3-day notice to pay or quit. And if they still don't respond, you serve them. And if they don't respond, then you evict them. You just don't play around with people that don't want to pay you. And sometimes tenant also violate your rules. Like you said, you cannot have pet, and they put a pet in there, then you have to serve them a notice for violation of COVID, and they don't take care of it, then you start the eviction. That's how you run your rental business, just run it like a business. So that's about it that I have to share with everyone today. If you have any more questions, Rudy, for me, I'll be more than happy to answer.
Yeah. I think for now, Jason, can you please share real life stories, right? Because I know you have a lot of personal story, either of yourself, the investors that you help. Share share real life stories about how we get started from zero, how we help families, how we help clients from first getting their primary home, and then continue investing in real estate. Give us at least 2 or 3 real life stories, so that way we can relate to what you are saying.
Yeah, so buying your first house is very important. I have helped one client in 2012 move from an apartment to a house in Montebello. At that time, he only had $9,000. And that's why I'm really believe in having money save up for opportunity. And when it comes, you have to pull the trigger. And at that time, he was living in an apartment paying about $850 a month. And I helped him buy a house in Montebello for $310,000 in 2012. And with the $9,000 for down payment, I was asking for the seller to pay for the closing costs. And that's how I get into the house. And I still remember he was sitting at my house, stressed out with his wife, because he's going from $750 to about $1,500 a month. That's like almost double his rent. but he was ready to pull the trigger and he bought the house. And now, 12 years later, the house worth about 800,000 now in Montebello. Any house is around 750 to 800. So basically, he made like $450 to $500,000 from $9,000. You know what the return on investment is? That's really, really big. That's one story. I have asked him to.
So
yeah.
So on that one, Jason, let's stick on that one. What is the learning lesson on that people who's listening to this can learn from that? What are some of the learning lessons from that one client?
Yeah, so the learning lesson that if you can afford the payment, now is the good time to buy. Don't wait, try to time the market because you cannot time the market. If you have the down payment or even with some down payment assistance program that we have now, if you can afford the payment and have some reserve, you should buy now. That's always the best time to buy. There's no other time than it is now. And once you buy it, you hold it for a while, you're gonna be making a lot of money, and you earn all the equity that you build up, right? Because you're not paying the landlord. So that's what I always tell people, because I screen a lot of tenants for my investor, and some people actually make good money, qualify to buy, and I ask them why you don't buy the house. They go, oh, it's too high. I still remember in 2021, the guy told me that, and I said, you're not gonna get anything lower. He said he was like fighting with me. I go, okay, whatever. I was just trying to help you buy your own house, but I don't know what he thinks now because 3 years later the house values actually went up. It didn't go down at all. So now is the best time to buy if you can afford it, and if you have money to invest. If you can break even or lose a little bit money right now, it's still a good time to buy because over time, when the interest rate go down, you refinance, you're gonna start making money.
I see. So you, based on your experience, you actually see many people actually qualify to own a house, but for some reason, do you know why? Do you understand like what's the psychology behind it? Like, so financially, logically, when you look at it, you know they qualify, but for whatever reason they choose to rent. Have you ever figured out the reasoning behind it?
Yeah, the logic is if you look at that chart that I showed earlier, they said it's so high now, for sure it's gonna come back down. But what they don't understand is the market is very different this time. Like there are millions of people that have interest rate at 2-something%. They're not gonna move. And also, now a lot of investment property are owned by hedge fund. That's why the government is trying to say hedge fund cannot buy investment property because they know what they're doing. They're not going to let the property go. So, and we don't have any more toxic mortgage like before when you're going to adjust and things like that. So the market is different, and we still have a major shortage of housing inventory. I think we're short like 3 to 4 million houses for the people that need the houses. How are we going to go down? Real estate is a demand and supply game, right? If there's no supply, a lot of demand, the price not going to go down, and people don't understand it. They think, oh, the housing cycles every 10 years. After 10 years, it should go down, and then it will go back up, and they just try to time it. I don't know what they're thinking, but it is.
I see. I see what you mean. So people try to time it. So what ends up happening is that they're always behind because the rate of inflation, you are not going to be able to catch up with it, right? The house is the house is appreciating faster than you can rate. That's why at the beginning you're sharing about the power of 72.
Yeah.
Your saving rate, you lose already.
Yeah. Yeah. So like people rent, they easily pay $2,500 to $3,000 a month for rent. That's like very normal here. And in a year, you just throw like 30,000 into the trash, right? Instead, you could have own your own house, and that 30,000 go into your equity. But
I got it. So now, let's pick another story, Jason. So now that let's pick another story of somebody that already own their primary home. You already shared that one clients pick somebody else, Jason. Somebody that already own a house, and then they came to you, right? They already own their primary house. They came to you, and you helped them to create generational wealth. So first to retire, first own their primary home, and then you retire them. How do you retire them? Is by making their passive income double than that of the expenses, and then setting up a generational wealth cause. And speak about, cause I know you are very passionate about creating generational wealth for the next generation and stuff like that. So talk about that.
Okay, so I have story like I have a lot of investor client, right? I always say, you know, the one that are very loyal to me, they already own a house. So when I see opportunity, good deals, I always call them and said, hey, here's a good deal. Do you want to buy? And that's including my brother. You know, he owns a house, and I did many cash out for him all this time over the year and take the money out and buy more investment property. So when I see a good one, I always go to my best loyal customer and give them the first opportunity to buy the investment property. And that's how they go from one to many in investment properties. And there are people that try to save like few $100 or something like that, and they actually shop around and go find whatever. But what they don't understand is they try to save $2,000 or whatever. But when I find a good deal for them, they can make hundreds and thousands of dollars from the house. So like, just work with someone that you know that are in the market looking at investment property every day. There's always opportunities. Like right now, there's one investment property in Hesperia that's a 10 unit for 2.1 million. And you're making, even now, the cap rate is 6%. And people would rather buy something in the San Gabriel Valley that have negative cap and not buy something like that. They just have weird thinking that they said nobody lived there, but you can actually make money there. I've been working with client investing in that area for over 12 years now, and they still continue to buy. I have one in escrow right now. Somebody that watched my YouTube channel, but he took action. He called me and we went and looked at property, and now we're in escrow buying his first investment property. And I'm trying to tell him that I will help you buy 10 property, which will need over 10 years.
So you are not just a real estate agent. You actually creating a plan for it. Now, Jason, before we wrap it up this session today, is there anything else that you wanna share? How do you connect? Okay, let's do it like this. We have many families, as you know. They have kids, right? They have kids going to high school, going to college. Can you put it all together? Because I know you are also very passionate about financial planning for families, right? Because can you tie all together in owning your primary home, investing in real estate, funding your kids going to college, and for your kids? Can you give us the blueprint on that?
Yeah, I was believe in college, right? I came from Vietnam, back in 1986. I didn't have any education. I started with ninth grade, and I graduated from Cal LA in 1995 with a bachelor degree in business management, and from there I just move on. So I always believe the kids here need to at least get a college degree as a backup. You can do whatever. I heard it somewhere, I don't know who said it, but require education just make you a living, but something that you learn on your own outside will make you a fortune. And I've been doing that a lot, learning a lot of stuff on my own. And I still remember in college, they never, or even in school, they don't teach me how to invest, right? You have to really learn on your own. And another important thing is always have save up some cash. And I have been telling my client, put that in a whole life insurance policy. When you put it there, that policy always go up in value, and it does not work with the market. So like in 2009, when the stock market and real estate market crashed at the same time, if you have money, you take advantage of the opportunity, then you give it time, you're gonna make a lot of money. So don't spend all your cash. Have some cash for opportunity, and opportunity always come. You just have to have money to take advantage of it, right? They said in every crisis, there's always opportunity, and that's how it works.
Yeah, I remember. I remember when COVID, not too long ago, when COVID hits and nobody buy a house, and I remember you're getting your rental properties and you're making like hundreds of thousands of dollars during COVID, right?
Yeah.
Because you have no competition.
I know, yeah. And because I did my math, right? I don't care what other people say. I know I will rent a house. So I bought in April 2020 when COVID first started. And after 2 years, it went up like 200,000. But who have the guts to do that, right? Only if you know what you're doing, then you pull a trigger like that.
Yep. So for all of our for everybody who's watching this video, you can be homeowners watching these videos, thinking about investing in real estate. You are already investing in real estate, or you're a real estate agent. You are a real estate agent watching this, and you are thinking for yourself, either you yourself investing in real estate and or how to create a lifetime clients for life. That's what we call this. This is part of our clients for life system. So the contact Jason. So Jason, what is the best way for consumers or real estate agents who wants to learn from you about investing in real estate or building a real estate business by creating this clients for life system? What is the best way to reach out to you?
Well, I'll give you my cell phone number. That's the easiest way to get a hold of me, and I'll be more than happy to sit down with you for at least half an hour to an hour to go over your situation to see if investing in real estate is the right thing for you to do. You can also Google me, just type my name, Jason Tan, Tan, real estate, and you'll find my number on the web. And I even have a YouTube channel that I talk to my client about investing in the high desert. You search my name, Jason Tan Real Estate, most likely you'll find it. And just give me a call. I always pick up my phone and set up my appointment to sit down with you to go over your situation. There's no cost or obligation. If it's the right thing for you to do, you do it. If not, then we just shake hands and say goodbye. And whenever you're ready, you come back to me.
So what is your cell phone number?
Area code 626-672-5473.
Wait, what is it? One more time, Jason. 626.
It is 626-672-5473.
5473. And you have your YouTube channel. You have your daughters, you have your son-in-law. They're all in the business with you, right? And I know you guys are doing a YouTube. You have your YouTube channel. Talk about investing in real estate, like you are sharing real life cases.
Yeah, we share real life cases and share idea. And the thing is, when you listen to something like that, you have to take action. If you don't take action, nothing gonna happen, right? You cannot change if you do the same thing over and over again. You have to make things happen. Just pull the trigger. And I'm ready to help anyone that's willing to look into investing.
Yep. So call Jason. We'll set up we can come in here in the office, or Jason actually owns 20 doors and he can show you his properties. I think you are using your properties kind of like your showrooms. So all of our clients actually get to tour. So if you want to see Jason, what I like about our podcast here is that we're always keeping it real. Right, everybody that I interview here on this panel, we are not learning this from a textbooks. We are not learning this from some seminars. Jason has been investing in real estate for over 22, how many? 20 years.
About 12 years, started in 2011. I would say like 13 years.
Yeah, 13 years. And you yourself have over 20 doors, and our clients, Jason is very transparent. Come here. Jason is a very transparent guy. He can show you the real deals that he personally get involved. So the whole idea is that you are doing it for your family, right? Once you know the math, you don't need to care about, I think, like you said, Jason, many times just now, is that I think most people, they listen to other people. And the problem is that the other people, their friends, they barely, like, they don't, like, they do not take advice from people that you are not willing to trade places with. How about that? Right? Do not take advice from people that you are not willing to trade places with.
Yeah, I call those dream killers because they don't know anything about investment, but yet they have like all kind of advice. They will listen to a horror story of other people investing in real estate, and they will tell it and said, "Oh, you don't buy because of this." But if you want to be successful, why you listen to the people that fail, right? There are people that do all kind of business, but only a certain amount will be successful. And the one that are successful are the one that you need to listen to, not the one that fail. But people
Yeah.
have a tendency to listen to the failure more than they listen to the successful people. That's just weird.
Yes, yes. And Jason has been very humble throughout this entire session here. He never shared anything about his personal thing. But you sometimes you go to a seminar and people are talking about stuff, but then when you look at the real thing, there's no portfolio, right? So when you meet face to face with Jason, set up a private interview, set up a private session with Jason. He'll show you the real deal. Again, everybody here in our office, we have no risk, there's no obligation, there is no commitment. So if you are seriously about changing the financial destination of your family, set up a phone call with Jason, and then it's a no cost, no obligation, there is no commitment. We just truly genuinely wanna help. Now, if you're a real estate agent watching this video and you are struggling now and you are thinking about how can we create a system where we have clients for life, but many of our clients come back to us over and over and over again for many, 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 many years. This is part of our clients for life system. Talk to Jason. Jason is building a team. So talk a little again, Jason. Talk a little bit more about your team and how you coach and mentor the other real estate agents in your team.
Well, right now, my two daughter and one of my daughter's boyfriend and one of my client's daughter is in my team right now. I really want to get them into helping people invest like what I do. And the good thing is I'm always 100% behind them. If there's anything that they don't know, they can always reach out to me and I'll be more than happy to sit down with anyone that want to invest. And if you want to join my team, Rudy here have abundance of lead. He actually generate lead from Zillow Flex, his ISA calling, and we actually set appointments for you. You don't need to like go door knocking or cold calling. You just get appointments, and you should be making good money if you just follow what Rudy teach you. You just have to be coachable.
Yeah, and the whole idea, it's a very simple game plan. Many real estate agents are watching this. The simple game plan is this: I generate the customer for you, right? Through Jason, basically through Jason, we generate buyers and listing appointments for you, and then once we help the families to get into the first primary home, then the next goal is that we'll make our clients rich, wealthy through investing in real estate. That's it. So that's part of our clients for life system. Our philosophy, we believe that once we work together, we partner up for life. And the best way to partner up for life is you get the clients becoming rich and wealthy, just like what Jason shared just now. From zero clients owning 10 multiple homes and the clients becoming retired, that is a true partnership in life. All right, Jason, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge today. And I want to encourage everybody, make sure you call Jason, Google up Jason 10 Real Estate, subscribe to his YouTube channel, and follow all his real life cases right there. Okay, guys, make it a great day, everybody. Go surf big.